second game. Okay, so this is a big buildings round 1, town round 3, big buildings and temple late. I mean, this is a swarmlings game if I've ever seen one. 2 pass tiles that are good for that in round 1 as well. 2 power tiles in round. Like it seems like almost too obviously a swarmlings game, but 2 ship tiles in. I'll just put in halflings for now. But if swarmlings do get put into this, we're going to bid them into oblivion. C2 is auren. Auren's cool. Don't always see auren. So a quick look at the breakdown. Round 3 towns. This encourages people to dig early if they can. It also encourages build-up. So I think that stronghold openers will be very good this game for whoever can. Nomads might find that interesting. I think auren are at a cool advantage because they're going to be able to get a favor tile early. So if everyone wants to open with strongholds other than halflings, I guess, then they are going to have an advantage on the cults, which they always want. So Zach is playing this game, so that's cool. Well, this sucks. Yeah, his color wheel's gonna suck. I mean, green and gray is always just a disaster. I mean, dwarves do have some play here, right? Like, dwarves are not engineers. They can play around green a little better, especially with landscapes on. They can connect with their landscape potentially, but it's going to be terrible. I said I was going to bid them into oblivion. I was not exaggerating. So it's a big building, a spade. It's going to go big building, spade, priest. So seat 1, halflings might just take a power tile or something, I think. I would say it's reasonably likely that halflings go like e6, h7 or something, so that they can take g5. But yeah, auren are going to be miserable here in this color wheel. They're not going to be able to take e7 for one of like the best towns that they could get. Like, this round 3 towns is going to be very difficult for everyone. I'm assuming that auren are placing e9. I guess it's possible that they don't, but like, there's no real way to know where people are thinking that they're going to be placing. I don't really see any of these other ones as better options, so I'm going to keep going here. I don't think that swarmlings are 20 points worse than halflings, or 20 points better than halflings, but I do think that they're 20 points better than auren or dwarves. They are very clearly going to get this town whenever the time comes. auren have some play. They should be opening on there's a world where auren open a temp ship, which is interesting. That means that they could potentially be trying to get double spade in round 1 or taking c5 with their first action or something. And then opening with a dwelling rush is pretty decent usually. trying to speed this game up a little. Halflings are in like by a gigantic margin. They have the best position in the color wheel. I think it's very, very likely that halflings will be able to get up through here, like somewhere. Dwarves are the worst. I think G5 swarmlings is likely, so it's pretty likely that you can't get a town in the east, and you can get this town though. You're probably going to be able to get a town here. So you spade d4 with your first action this game, and then just put 1 point on them. I was originally interested in auren. I mean, this game is going to just kind of suck, unfortunately. The air cult rewards are very good, so the round 1 priest is going to be good. Auren, I think, are going to want that quite a bit, so they probably shouldn't want tempship. They should prefer the priest. Either of these other options is also very, very strong. So that means that halflings are going to get a crappy tile in round 1. They're going to be getting like a coins tile or like maybe like a crappy power tile or something. So Zach went for auren. It's pretty interesting. Is there a world where we can open sanctuary doors? You can get 5 extra points here, and then maybe you turn this guy to gray and don't build it or something. You buy the workers, and then you open Earth 1, Earth 2. And then you just try really hard to get this town. Looks like we're halflings. Okay. So we're going to place E6 first. If it is G6 swarmlings like we think, then we need to secure G5 in round 1 as well. Luckily, we're halflings, so we're always going to be able to take a single dig if we want. The question is just, do we want to take the double spade out of the game? We're playing at a 14-point deficit versus these guys, and we only have 10 points against swarmlings. So this could be a pretty competitive matchup, actually. I'm interested to see how it goes. We're going to aim for this town in round 3. It's not trivial, so I think that we might be taking Earth 2 to try to make it happen. Swarmlings don't place in the south, which makes our connection dreams much more likely. If we can get H5, then there could be a town here. Otherwise, I guess actually trying to make a town, like a 4-hex town over here, a 4-hex town over here, and like a 3-hex town down here. Sounds possibly interesting. There's incentive to build a big building late. Okay, it is G6 swarmling, so I think that we are going to do our thing and place H7, grab G5 with our first action. The question is just, do we want the double spade or not? Dwarves place up here. I think that that's a mistake. I think you still want to place F6 for the leech and to secure these hexes. You can get a town up here, but it's harder, right? Like, unless auren don't place E9. Like, now auren don't have a neighbor here. If auren plays C4 instead, then, wow, this is like a fucking Jedi mind trick. Like, I don't approve of this at all, because this is incredibly good for dwarves. Like, if dwarves are going to get this town, then they are way, way better than they're being bid. But whatever. I mean, we don't control others' actions, so. Yeah, our plan is G5, F5, temple for Earth 2, and the question is, do we also, do we take the double dig or not? A 4-action round might be the fastest round, in which case we might be able to pass on to, like, the 6 coins tile after that, but we could also just start on the 6 coins tile. The question is, can we get another of those power actions? And where are we making our like first temple? I still think that the first temple. Ooh, wow, this is juicy. This is really juicy. Okay. Well, I mean, I can't really complain about this. This is a break that did go our way. I can see what Zizak is doing. Zizak is trying to get a town up here, I think. And also, like, this is slightly better expansion for Zizak, but, like, Sandwich Auren, you are going to have to do something dumb and weird, but takes the workers. So it's going to be Stronghold. Okay, so fair enough. It's going to be Stronghold, 3 dwellings as an opening in a Stronghold round with lots of Earth Cult rewards. Zizak might Stronghold for Fire 1. That seems like kind of his style. Alright, I don't hate it that much. I'm wondering where my priest goes. The earth track looks very appealing. The water track, like the air track, is not the end of the world either. Like there is some reason to think that the water track could be appealing as well. Actually, dwarves are going to have a hard time getting down here, so I might be able to get this hex for this southern town, in which case I wouldn't need a sanctuary town in the south. Dwarves upgrade in the center, so swarmlings upgrade down here. Who do I think has the best game right now? I think that dwarves have the best game, so maybe I want to upgrade next to swarmlings, but there's a chance that I want this to be my sanctuary town, and there's a chance that D4 gets built. So I think that this is, and also, I guess this is also the spot where I'm expecting Leech. So this is probably where I should be upgrading. The downside, I guess, is that dwarves might get double dig and the spade. That seems a little tough. I take Earth 1. I get a little more leech. I have to say, this is a pretty good leech game. Like, once I put this priest here, I am contending for the double spade next round as well, which is pretty neat. Actually, dwarves could have a pretty fast round here, so I think that I'm supposed to temple, build a dwelling, send a priest. So there's the temple. If I'm forced into a long round, dwarves probably take double spade here. I think if I'm dwarves, I'm turning this guy gray and then building D7. It just builds D4. Okay, so dwarves can pass and get double spade next round, I guess. That means that I could take double spade here. It's not as good because I can't build on everything, but it really just can't be that bad to secure. Okay, the priest goes away. So can I read this like this? So our mission is obviously to win the Earth Cult this game. Yeah, presumably dwarves just pass here for double spade. Okay. And they can take one of the 2 coins tiles. I am going to get the coins tile. That I am going to get the... double spade this round, which is pretty sick. I mean, I can't really argue with that. Swarmlings put priest there, which makes lots of sense. So do I want the double spade this round, or do I just want the single spade? Actually, probably what I want to do, right, is just leave the double spade untaken. It really sucks for everyone else that they can't get the double spade, and I'm going to pass the bonus spade and take the single spade action next round. I think that's probably the most devious move that I can make. Yeah, I think that that's what we want to do. I think that we want to just pass on to the regular spade. And then I can take a single spade, take F3, and then bonus spade G4. And we'll have plenty of coins to work with other stuff later. Zach takes Earth 2. Interesting. I think that makes sense. Can bump up fire. It's going to be a little coin short, but that's okay. But I don't need anything else right now. Now we'll just pass. We'll secure a spade action plus this spade, which is very well. Build 2 dwellings. So our first action is going to be the spade action. The next action that we want is a priest to air if we can get it. We probably can't get it, so it might just be priest to earth instead. And then we want to use our regular spade, build 2 dwellings. Wow, Zach is going with the earth cult. Don't fight me on earth, dude. Get yourself an extra worker. Take the coins next round. Like, it doesn't come with the reward yet. Yeah, Zach is going to get onto a great pass tile. Good for him. The one thing that I could have done, I guess, is I could have taken the 2 spades now. I could have turned this brown and this brown now, and then I could have taken the single spade, and then I could have taken this spade next round, and then I could have built 1 extra dwelling. So that's a small imprecision in my game. Swarmlings just grab water 1 first. That makes a lot of sense. There's a small question of when am I going to go for Earth 1. I would say that there's probably a case for me just templing for Earth 1 like now or something. Instead of taking the single spade, I could go for Earth 1. But I also feel like taking all the spades away from Swarmlings is also pretty nice. I could win the 2 key town this way. Alright, so action 1 that we want is the bonus spade. The double spade goes away as expected. Wow, dwarves put a high priority on connecting, which I don't necessarily think is great. I think they could have connected later. And they waste their landscape. Okay. Well, I guess they do think that they're going to be able to come down here. So they're only getting out 1 dwelling this round, which is pretty underwhelming. Does not make me too scared of them. Let's take this guy. The next thing that we'll do, if we can, is we'll take the coins, but I don't think that we'll be allowed to get the coins. I think it's pretty likely that auren will take the coins. I think Swarmlings are probably just going to put the first priest to air, so I won't get that. In which case I just take F3. Swarmlings are going to have to hard dig this round. They're going to go priest to air, hard dig C1, and then make a TP with their Swarmlings action. So they have a 3-action round. And then they want to pass back onto the big building tile if they can. It'll be ugly, but then they can hard dig their way. And then they can, yeah, then they'll try to make their sanctuary here. But we have slowed down Swarmlings a bit, which is nice. I guess the case for not making Earth 1 is that we kind of want to get stuff going down here. Also very unfortunate for us is that dwarves are slow to get down to here. I guess dwarves kind of locked themselves into this spot, huh? Like if they had single spaded D7 last round, then they could have had a useful double spade, and then they could have gone E9 and F6 this round. But I guess it's understandable that it happened this way. Yeah, I'm having some regrets about taking that single spade now. I'm thinking now that I probably was supposed to grab the coins and just temple for Earth 1. Whatever. It's fine. Zach, buddy, what are you doing? Zach took workers. I have to assume that means that he wants like that he wants to build up this round. I think there's a good chance for me to snag this priest to air because he blew his power. I don't think that swarmlings are going to burn down for the power right now. So I think it's nice to be greedy there. I could also just put this last priest to earth. That's also a pretty nice greedy move. Because then that lets me close earth with the 2-key town. But can I get this priest to earth? I may live to regret this. That's definitely possible that I'll live to regret that. Alright. We'll grab the coins, we'll take F3, and then we'll hurry on out. Ooh, actually, how bad is it to take I-10 here? It saves us the trouble of making an expensive TP. It's a dig round, so I get 2 extra points from the dig. I have plenty of workers for the moment. Okay. I think that we're actually going to take as is. We're going to grab the coins and then take I-10. And then maybe life can be good. I also have like plenty of coins coming, so is it possible at all? Oh, Zach just wanted to hard dig. Fair enough. Puts the landscape down, so he's going to go for... Wow, he's going to go for the Juki town this way. Zach is aware that he's playing pretty slow, yeah. That's true. So Swarmlings put the last priest there. Let's just do this. Yeah, I've decided that I'm going to try something a little different, which is take advantage of the spade scoring but right now, and then do this. Oh, I did leave the coins untaken. Is that a mistake? I don't think that that's too much of a problem. Because I'm just passing now. Just take this. I'll just take this, take the coins. Maybe I sanctuary for a water 1, and then I'll take these 2. Oh, dwarves pass first. Okay. Okay, I'll just take dwarves tile. Oh, okay, now we don't need to think about doing dumb stuff like take water 1, at least. So swarmlings did take the coins. I guess we could have grabbed another priest, but it doesn't matter. So I think that we rushed the 2-key town, because people could do other stuff. Like, I think Zizak is going to bridge, TP, temple. Zizak could bridge and TP here, which means that his next round could go for the town pretty quickly. That does mean that I want to hurry my town a little bit so I can get the 2-key. Though I guess I could also lose Earth anyway if that happens. That's slightly awkward. It does look like maybe I was supposed to put priest to Earth instead of to air, because then I would be guaranteed to win this cult, and I would also have 2 more coins. This air cult is not going to do me quite as much good, because I don't really need this spade. The worker will be nice, but... Zach goes for probably Earth 1 here. This is a very nice auren game. They're not going to get the town in the town round, though. I think. Okay, so Swarmling's coins issues are taken care of. They can pass on to the spade. Actually, they probably can't. I think auren should pass on to the spade now. So Swarmlings are 1, 2, 3 actions away from a town. Auren are pretty far from a town, so I can't take a power action here. Even if I want the 2-key town. The action I want is probably the coins. Actually, I could also go for double spade. Double spade seems pretty good. Oh no, Swarmlings are going to get the double spade. Dwarves might want the single spade anyway. It seems like they really want E9 so they can get into here and then carve out town space at least. If I'm dwarves, my round is probably single spade, build, tunnel. Single spade. The sanctuary first. They're just going to lock up water 1 really early. Okay, we got double spade, so that's neat. No one's taking a town before us, so... This leaves the coins to someone else, but continue to like the idea of taking the coins out of the game for others. It's fine. The only question is, can I double spade like this hex or something, and then just grab F7 for myself after that? Seems like a fun way to make a town, just like a massive town over here. And then, but I do have to worry about connecting a little bit, right? That's probably too ridiculous of a move if I grab this and this for a town. Like, I'm on the Dwelling Pass tile, and next round is the TP round, so I don't really want to... Yeah, let's do this. This is admittedly pretty iffy, but I think it's kind of fun, so I'm gonna try out something different. As soon as that auren should be able to get coins. Wow, auren are going to turn h5 to blue. That's troublesome for our connection hopes. Swarmlings are on the victory point pass tile for advancing ship, so I can get onto temp ship next round. It's fine. Maybe I can connect through the north. There are victory points to be had on the temp ship tile, or on the shipping tile, so we can live with that. Swarmlings are spade blocked again, so yeah, they need to grab workers so that they can get their coins, so that they can actually build stuff. Dwarves have not been hurt by anyone, so they continue to do their thing. It's fine. Yeah, we're going to have some issues connecting. Now, we should be able to beat Swarmlings on network just by building out here in the east, but... So auren actually are going to be taking a town this round. Their town is going to be enough for them to close Earth. I don't have 2 priests. Do I want to take the 2-key town and try to take a priest action? Like, the 8-pointer might be just as good for me, but this is probably still useful for me on the air cult. I think auren would have a hard time chasing me down on 2 different cults, so I think that the move is still to take this. So there's auren's bridge. I also feel like dwarves are getting like a pretty good game going, so I think that I've sufficiently hurt dwarves with this. We're going to get 2 spades next, so I think that those 2 spades will go here. Which means that this priest probably goes for shipping. Mr. Fickles, what's cracking, man? Yeah, it's a pretty interesting looking game. Interesting is like a good euphemism for bad, so I appreciate you going that route. Yeah, I mean, I don't have either of the scoring favors yet, and it doesn't look great. So I was thinking that I would go for temp ship here, so I could work on getting e8, but next round's a TP round, so I think I really just want to build TPs next round. I think that we're going to go for 2 spades over here, so we can build dwellings without shipping next round. We'll just build these 2 dwellings, and we'll build like 4 TPs next round, and that probably involves this guy. We'll also send our priest to air. Dwarves are looking at passing, so I think I actually want to pass in front of dwarves so that I can get the 7 coins. I don't particularly want to sanctuary next round for water 1. I want to build TPs and I want coins. Heroic Logic, what's up? How are you? Yeah, so Auren will close the Earth, which is sad. That was definitely part of our game plan to win the Earth cult. I actually think that Auren might have the best game right now. I think I've hampered swarmlings quite a bit by doing what I've done. I think I've done a lot of inefficient stuff myself. I think our round will go priest to air. I think our first action is actually priest to air, right? Like we're not going to get the leech for coins action, so I want to lock up the air cult for sure by putting this priest off, and then we can make 4 TPs, and then we'll advance and then we'll build our dwellings if we can over here, and then I'll think about maybe if I can advance ship to get these guys up here. Yeah, we have 13 coins. We just need a couple leech for us to get these, and I think that it's likely that dwarves will give us a bit of leech. Dwarves also might want E9. They can still make a bridge down here. All I did was like take away these tunnels. Two key halflings, yeah, it's a classic tradition. Board game is going great, and I will say I was a huge hater that they didn't place E9, but it looks like it's worked out for them. Honestly, like auction makes things so weird, right? Like if you so Auren had like a huge head start in terms of victory points this game. But if they hadn't had that huge head start, then they would look a lot less amazing right now. But they're about to get an 8-pointer. And then they're about to close this cult to make it 62 points for them. Plus winning cults would be great. Yeah, plus space. Auren are just going to build up through here, I imagine, for their second town. Because they can drop us like their cult spade here and then just build up here. And they also are going to pass on to this, which is just continuously amazing. But let's focus on our own game. We're going to get 12 points worth of TPs, and then we're going to build 2 dwellings. We'll get the last priest spot in air. It's not all awful. I guess the last priest spot in air does mean that Auren have the inside track on closing this as well, which is miserable. As 2 key halflings isn't working that great. If I had placed the last priest, I think that I really messed up by not placing the last priest to earth there. I should also probably be more I should be pretty invested in getting this ship upgrade as well, actually, because the ship upgrade is going to let me advance shipping, and like that's important for my connection dreams. I guess the south is still available as well. I could try to I could still try to sanctuary town through here. That's still not the worst idea in my opinion. Everyone's getting spades here. Everyone's happy. We need to remember that our first priest goes to air. Let's try not to forget that, because it's easy to forget. Dwarves are going to build E9, give us a little leech there. No one took the coins this round, which is pretty interesting. Like the second round earth coins plus everyone jamming the earth cult did result in that type of outcome. Swarmlings didn't get around 3-town, but they are going to just go absolutely ham now, so they're still in a perfectly fine spot. Let's see how this goes. Lots of dwellings, lots of TPs about to be built. Pretty early. Zach finally gets a coins action. Swarmlings take the workers action. That makes a lot of sense that they can build this guy. Actually, we can build our TP, one of our TPs here, can't we? That seems like a good spot to put a TP. Swarmlings will probably Sanctuary for Earth 1. I probably need to put a little more emphasis on Water 1 than I'm thinking right now. I just really, really want to build TPs instead of taking Water 1. We're going to take all the 2-for-1s that we can get for sure. Auren are in temp ship, so they should secure I6 this round. Swarmlings get the other 8-point town. Yeah, I feel like if we transform this guy to yellow, then there's like, orange should not be able to waste the time to cut us off. Right? If we transform this to yellow with 2 cult spades, then we should be able to just build through here late. Oh, Mr. Fickles, you believe in my game. I'm happy to hear that. I don't believe in my game, so. We got the other 2-for-1 that we wanted. I don't think we can that we actually need to down convert. But affording that ship advance is also not trivial. Though looking at it, it's probably just better to try to connect through the north, right? Like the only thing here is that like it gives me a useful place to put cult spades, but realistically speaking, I should just be going through the north, I think. This is like an easier town to dig out as well. I just can't get that much shipping going. That's the only problem there. So just a quick coin count. I want 3 TPs, that's 9 coins, plus 1 dwelling, that's 2 coins, so that's 11. I want 15 coins. I have just short of 15. Bummer, maybe I just don't build E5 this round. I think I can live with that. That's why I have Earth 2. Dwarves are going to pass here. Oh, they put a priest off first. Fair enough. I do think that the ship advance is probably a little more important than. Yeah, I think you're right, Mr. Fickles. I think that probably ship advance is not as important this round. It's probably more important to build E5 and just get an easy town here. And then maybe I can still, like, as long as I can still connect, then I'm fine. And then I can dream about a 3rd town later. But since I'm placing all these TPs over here, I probably don't need to worry that much about a 3rd town anyway. So an easy town here is probably good. I can Sanctuary or even Driller. Yeah, I think that's go. Swarmlings took air one, not earth one. Okay. Keep feeding leech here. If they want it, they can have it. I'm actually a little short on priest this game. Pretty funny. Yeah, I don't have a lot of priest production going, so I might. Well, I do still want to pass for a scoring tile, but next round maybe I want to go sanctuary and temple for earth one. Like temple earth, sanctuary earth one, temple air one next round might be the way. I'm guaranteed a scoring tile, so I can play this slow if I want. I would love for swarmlings to pass early onto this and then block something from someone else. You think a ship town might be in the cards? I think you might be right. Like a priest town is not too bad either, right? Depending on how many coins I have next round. I'm also secretly thinking that maybe Stronghold and Sanctuary next round is good. Sanctuary Air 1, then Stronghold. And then Stronghold down the Driller 2. I don't know. But I'm going to play Max Econ. And we'll see where it gets us. Can I do that? Sanctuary and Temple and do all the digger increasing and do all the ship increasing? No, I don't think I can. But if I land on this Swarmlings big building tile, I think it might be pretty fun. Like if I land on the Swarmlings big building tile, then I think I might just build Driller and Sanctuary Air 1. Like who cares about Earth 1 at that point, right? I'll Temple for Earth 1 in round 6 if it's still there. Oh, I guess I said that I wanted Temple so I could get priest production going, huh? Can I go Temple Stronghold? In any case, I'm definitely building E5. Just replenish my workers a little bit. Replenish my dwelling count. Still gonna build this. Like both these tiles are like equally good for me right now, so. Mr. Fickle, do you think another thing that I can do is build everything but my big buildings this game? Yeah, I mean you're right. I could do that. It's probably the responsible thing to do, right? Like I've just been having so many games where I do awful on network, and this is my chance to actually make something happen on network. The only person who's competing right now is Auren. Okay, I do have to decide if I want the big building tile or this. I think the big building tile is more fun. But you are right. Like I could just go Sanctuary Earth 1, right? I could go Sanctuary Earth 1, take G2, and then like just play like a very normal game after that. Sanctuary Earth 1, Temple Air 1, build G2, make my second town, and then advance ship, and do like sane stuff. Ship advance now is certainly not happening. I don't know. Also, I am losing the air cult, so I need to figure out where my other points are coming from. I don't think I like building no big buildings here. I think that's my conclusion. I don't think that I want to build 0 big buildings this round, because I'm on the big building tile, and it's a big building scoring round. Like, if it's up to me, I'm both big buildings. That might be a little excessive, but it's kind of fun, right? Yeah, Swarmlings are never templing this round. The temple is in the final round, so I'm definitely gonna, and they want fire too, right? Like, they're building so little stuff. They are not going to try to contest network over here in the west. Like, I can beat them on network alone over here, so I can definitely just go Sanctuary for Air 1, close the air cult, build G2, take the priest town, and then I can driller. Yeah, so if I were in dwellings or ship BP, it would be different. That is true. That is true. I totally could have passed onto those, and I chose not to because I'm addicted to this awful idea. So that is completely like my own bias showing, right? Like, if I could have made that decision. I chose not to. I do think that the ship town seems a little more likely now, though. I think I could go Sanctuary for Air 1, take G2, ship town, close this. And then Stronghold over here, Driller on I9. It's just a lot of direct points, so I kind of like that. Oh man, if I'm dwarves, I'm definitely taking D5. Do it. Take D5. Oh no, dwarves, no. This is so wrong, guys. This is, oh god. That cannot possibly have been the correct move. God, that was painful to see. Swarmlings are just going to advance ship 3 times and build a dwelling here and probably make this bridge next round. Is this correct? Who can say? Is it what I'm going to do? Yes. Just Sanctuary here, and then make my town. It'll be a ship town, and then I can immediately driller here, right? There's probably no need to be that cutesy, though. We'll close this. It's worth a lot of points to close this cult. It looks like E8 is also just incredibly safe at this point. So Zach wants to redo something. Zach might just want to secure water 1. C3. Probably D5, though. Ooh. Zach takes the coins, loses D5. Okay. So dwarves actually managed to get that anyway, which is absurd. Absolutely absurd. Good for dwarves, though. Um, I think I said something about a ship town. Am I sticking to that? Yeah, I'm sticking to that. I need the ship town. I don't have the coins to build the stronghold if I don't ship town. Quick check. Auren don't have a second town key yet, right? Auren only have one key. Dwarves actually want a second bridge. That's pretty notable. So we're going to put this priest off. We're going to build the stronghold. We're going to drop the driller on I9, and then we're just going to pass. And then next round we'll maybe pass. We'll maybe start on coins. Wait, what are swarmlings doing? Do they put a priest on a cult? Are they advancing? Oh, they advance digs instead of shipping. I don't like that at all. Also, that's dope. I like this. This is cool. Good job, dwarves. Okay, that feels pretty good. We'll down convert one more just in case we get a little more leech. I don't think that that's super likely. Okay, let's go. Y'all prepared to get drilled? We built 2 towns and we're somehow only at 60 points. I guess these are very, very low scoring towns, but still. Dwarves have no income. Hey man, that's not true. If they pass, then they're getting onto this and they're taking a coins action, right? Dwarves are actually not as bad off as you might think. They can pass now. Actually, they probably want to bridge next round. Dwarves could pass now, bridge, and then make a TP expensive, and then they can get a second town that way. I don't think that's awful, right? It's not great, but it's not awful. There's the dwarves pass. Yeah, so yeah, I think dwarves are completely fine. They just bridge, make a TP, and then they have Earth 1, Water 1. They make a TP. They maybe temple for fire too, because the fire track is wide open. I see a world where I end up on this priest, and I'm pretty happy about it, because the priest is probably worth 2 points to me anyway, and there's 3 coins printed on this. Like, there's a high chance that I'm not passing after these guys. Like, swarmlings have so many actions left. Auren have so many actions left. The priest action went away. Yeah, because swarmlings were planning out a slow round. Don't think I'm ever outlasting Auren here either. That's a bummer. That is the one downside about this. And then dwarves took the best pass tile. Oh well. Oh, you're just trying to badmouth dwarves in case it helps me catch up. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the spirit, Mr. Fickles. I mean, admittedly, it's like not the end of the world. I still should be pretty much winning network, um, if not coming in second, right? Like, can auren get out temple, temple, TP, TP, TP? Maybe I'm only getting out these three more structures, um, and I just temple for Earth 1 and build these guys. Actually, templing for Earth 1 might not even be that good next round. Dwarves could also totally just go for like E7 and a TP instead of building this bridge. But I really hope that they go for the bridge instead. All right, these two guys are just going to take a long time to wrap up their game. Meanwhile, I said something about passing for the priest. I think that that's still the best option for me, actually. Believe it or not. I suppose that there's like slight tempo arguments that say that I7 could be better, but whatever. Or like the spade could be better because then we could spade this guy early. But we're going to ignore those arguments because I don't feel like thinking about that. If we can get the coins action, obviously we want it. That seems pretty clear. Both these guys look like they're going to get some good stuff. I actually want Zizak to pass for the big building tile, but it does look like swarmling. Oh yeah, swarmlings are too slow because they haven't used their swarmlings action yet. Well, they're going to have to do worker to coin. They're probably going to dig this, do worker to coin, so that they can build this TP. Yeah, so that means that Zach is taking this, which means that Swarmlings are getting a 0-point pass down the final round. That's going to suck for them. Oh man, I don't like this. This leaves Swarmlings pretty vulnerable to a bridge block from Dwarves, which I think that they should do, right? Dwarves should bridge block here. Or like the bridge isn't even a block, it actually does something useful for themselves. This is going to be very interesting. Auren could cut my connection. I wouldn't necessarily blame them for cutting my connection. Auren decided to go for air 1 over water 1. That totally makes sense. Only question is, are they going to go for water 1 in the final round? Answer to that, probably they don't want to. They don't have neighbors up here. So fire 2 is probably just a little cheaper to build this stuff up here. In any case, I do think that Swarmlings made an error here. I think that they were supposed to dig this hex and then build E2. They were not supposed to build A4 because now they need more stuff to make this town. I mean, like I could be just making stuff up. Like maybe Swarmlings are going to get a bridge, but I don't think they should get a bridge. I think that dwarves are supposed to bridge block, and I'm supposed to get the coins action. Shocker that I think that I'm supposed to get the coins action, but honestly, I think that my logic makes sense for why. So our dream is Temple Earth 1, get a coins action, advance my digs twice, build these two. Great. This should hurt swarmlings in like at least some amount. They were really supposed to take E2. Because now they need Temple for Fire 2 and E2 and F2 or whatever, so. Don't undo this, dwarves. Do not even think about undoing this. Dwarves are considering undoing. I'm just going to look over at this game instead to distract myself. This is an edge scoring game where Darklings managed to build a bunch on the edge over here. Oh, looks like an aggressive Nomads took away a town from Mermaids, so that's awkward. Have dwarves still not decided whether or not they're undoing this move? Dude. It was a good move. Just let it stay. Just let it stay. Okay, cool. Alright, cool. We're in business. Maybe we don't connect. In that case, I think that we might just try to get E8. Oh, dwarves, maybe they just didn't see or something. So we'll be templing for Earth 1. So Auren have another town coming in. They probably have second on network. They have a lot of passing points. I think that Auren are probably winning this game. That's my prediction. Auren have won, which is a big bummer. Yeah, I think Auren won this game. If I'm Auren, I'm probably going Temple, Fire 2, TP for a Priest Town, advanced ship, build. But they have enough stuff for that. That would be 8 coins plus 8. There's the Temple. I do think this is supposed to be Fire 2. Yep. They do correctly take Fire 2. Well done. It's going to be expensive TP next. Dwelling. Ship advance. So if they do take the town, then that's going to be 93. Oh, they'll lose F2 though. That's good news. Hopefully that doesn't mean that they start turning their attention toward cutting me off. Don't think I want that much leech. Take smaller leeches. I don't need that much. Maybe I could go for Fire 3 instead too. I'll start by advancing my digs, I think. Like Fire 3 and Water 3 both have a lot of appeal to me right now. Oh wait, hold on. Why don't I just take Fire 2? I could block Swarmlings. I'm beating Swarmlings, right? Like I think that I'm beating Swarmlings pretty handily. So I'm just not gonna worry. Like they've already used up all their tech advances. They have this, and that's basically it. They're not doing too much else this game, right? Is it ever safe to write off Swarmlings, though? That's the real question. Earth 1 is like 1, 2, 3, 4 more points. 5, 6. Earth 1 is like 6 more points, maybe? Am I going to get a bunch more points by taking like Fire 2 or Fire 3 or Water 3? Probably not, honestly. Dwarves are just going to make TPs and temples to like shoot up the cults if they can. They have nothing else to do with their priests other than to like send them to cults. I think the right move is still just to take Earth 1. Yeah, I think it's still Earth 1. Apologies for the slowness. I think that will be fast now. We're just going to 7. Maybe we temple for water 1 and make another TP and another dwelling. I don't think that we'll have the stuff for that, but if we do, then stay tuned for that as well. I do hope that like these players won't conspire to take away my connection, because I think that auren could take away one of these hexes, but they can't take away both of them while still making their town. Well, I guess they could too. I'll build I8. It'd be worth it to just hard dig I7 and waste 2 workers. We'll see how that goes down. So I'm not building too much else either. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would have 7 workers left. Advanced digged twice. I would have 3 workers left, and then I could go for another whatever. I could go for another temple maybe, or another ship advance to get some more points. At that point, it would be like a temple for like a 3-stepper on water or fire. It's a ship town for auren. That makes plenty of sense. They need another ship advance still. I'm going to build I8 first, obviously. Because I actually have a decent network going on just this side. Ooh, that's cool for dwarves. I'm not going to bother their hexes. I think I'm still beating them by enough. They can get another 6 points here, but anything that they do here means that they're not templing for like a cult favor, which I kind of want to do. So auren don't want my leech. Seems good. They are capable of cutting me off here once again, but if they do that, then they're service. They look a little less intimidating now that they've used up their town, and it doesn't look like they should be able to close these cults, because I think that they do want this. They do want connection here. Actually, a cool world was auren taking E8 for connection. They just have to worry a little less about other stuff. Wow, they built a temple. They take water 3, but I think that seems pretty bad, right? Well, I guess swarmlings don't necessarily have the juice to fight them. Yeah, because swarmlings, if they temple, they need to temple for fire 2 here. They can't really afford to temple for water 2. And if they send priest to water, auren just send the other priest to water, right? I don't know, this is pretty interesting. Swarmlings just build this, so auren are going to be able to get away with winning this cult, it looks like. How do they do this? They build this, they 5 power, they send priests, then they just send priests, close it, and then they 5 power priests to advance their ship. So they're fine. That does mean that I'm very interested in templing for Fire 3, because Auren are gonna spend their energy closing this cult. I should try to win Fire Cult, or I should get second place in Fire Cult in that case, if I'm allowed to. Dwarves might get one more tunnel off. That would put them at 118. Maybe I should be a little less cavalier about how dwarves are doing, because 118 is like, and they will get second on network, right? Actually, are they getting second on network then? Because on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Auren have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 structures out. Yeah. I mean, at least I'm beating dwarves on the cults, right? So I'm beating them by 6. I'm beating them by 6 on network plus 6 on the cult. Zach says their first time ever taking a ship town. Played a lot of Terra Mystica, but you know you've never really played Terra Mystica until you've taken a ship town. It also looks like they have absolutely no stuff left to mess with I7, so I should be getting I7. Like if the double speed is gone, so this hex is safe. Dude, you're really sending priest to fire instead of like tunneling here. You don't have the stuff to I mean, I gotta take this priest spot, right? Yeah. This hex can no longer be meddled with, so, or I can no longer be stopped on this hex. So, it does look like it's going to be Temple for Fire 3 or something now. Swarmlings do get another town. They're not going to get any points off their pass tile. They are going to Temple for Fire 2 and take this. So they have 3 points coming in. So the Temple is 4 points, Water 1 is 3 points, Air 1 is 4 points. So that's 11 more points plus they got an 11-point town. So they'll be at 101 after passing, thereabouts. Maybe like a resource point. Maybe let's say they have 3 resource points. So they're at 4. They're not going to get network points. And then they're going to get like, this looks like around 20 cult points or 18 cult points. So they're going to be at like low 120s. We're going to win network, or we think we're going to win network. So Zach should probably make a move here. They advance on shipping, and they have just enough stuff to close this cult with a 5-power priest. There's Fire 2 for Swarmlings. So I think it was an okay decision to let Swarmlings have their little cult. They did need to take Fire 2, because otherwise I could have taken Fire 2 away from them. Yeah, I cannot believe that Dwarves chose to send Priest to cult instead of getting a 6-point tunnel off. But who knows? Maybe it was worth it for them. Also, I said something about taking Swarmlings have a priest. Maybe Water 2 is just better. It's 2 points here. That's got to be better. No one has the shipping for it or had the for it, so this is safe. We're going to read out that extra worker. Yeah, I think Water 2 has a lot of value here. Unfortunately, Water 2 does lose us a point on air, but I think that 4 points. So the opportunity of water 2, right, is it costs us 5 coins. It costs us 3 points because it's 2 workers that it loses us plus 1 air 1 point. So that's 3 points. Plus, let's say it costs us 1 point for the 5 coins. We're going to get some coins back. So it costs us 4 points. It gets us 4 points plus 1, 2, 3. So 7 points. So I think that water 2 is a net benefit to us if we can't find other ways to use that. Yeah, water 2 costs 2 workers. That's 2 points. Plus maybe up to like 2 more points from the 5 coins. Where did dwarves send their final priest? Oh, I'm done. They had a... Sorry, that was really stupid of me. They had the stronghold out, so they were still able to do that. Fair enough. Fair enough, dwarves. Yeah, dwarves getting second on network. I think auren going for this water track. I mean, I guess it's worth it for auren, right? Like, that's 8 points to them. Minus an air 1 point. Whereas building these dwellings, it was very comparable, I suppose. Very comparable. Yeah, both these guys are out of cult stuff. I will just take water 2. I think we might have this game. Auren are scary looking. Well, actually, auren had this game, right? Auren will have... I don't think they're getting a final resource point. They're not going to get free leech. So they're going to pass for 12. They're going to be at 117. They're going to get 20 points on the cults. So that's 137. And then 3 points on, or 6 points on network. 143. We're going to pass for 4. So we're talking about spending 4 workers here. That's 3 points for the earth 1. Then we're going to temple for 4. So that'll leave us with 3 workers. So that's 3 more points. So that's 4 points plus 4 points from the temple, 3 points from this, 3 points from remaining digging. That's 10 points. Then 2 points of air 1. We'll be at 118 after we pass. And then we'll win network outright. That'll be 136. And then we should have these 48. Yeah, I think we're finally winning one here. I think we did need this game. It's been a long time since I've won a game, like a really long time since I've actually won a game. So, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not doing my math exactly correctly, but thank you, Mr. Fickles. You never doubted me. Yeah, I mean, even when I had the 7 dwelling town in the west with no scoring favors thing going on, you still never doubted me. I will remember that. So, what went wrong for Swarmlings this game is that they just got spade blocked viciously. They got viciously spade blocked this game. They really need to get onto more of this stuff over here. They needed more spades here. I also cut them off really hard by coming here. Like, you almost always expect to get 3 towns of the Swarmlings with the landscape and like this friendly of a color matchup, but they were unable to get anything going in the east because I took the double spade that round. I think that might have been the right read because it did wind up like I essentially took them out of the game, which is kind of a mean thing to do, but turned out to be very useful. And hey, they still did do pretty well in the cults. Like, our 2-key town didn't help us that much. But given that our final competition was auren, maybe it helped us more than we think. And actually, it's pretty naive for me to say that it didn't help us that much because, like, we're getting some very cheap cult points over here, which really doesn't happen if you don't get the 2-key town. Like, if any of these other guys have the 2-key town, then I'm definitely not getting those. And I got an extra worker here. It does look like the worker because we're halflings from the air cult, from the extra steps. So Zach, hello. How are you? I think I have this, and I think that you're second. I've done some of the math. I haven't done it like that many times, but I do think that the way to break down is that you're going to be a pretty close second. You have 20 points here, 26 points here, so you're at 141, and I think that I'm just over that, if I'm not mistaken. Canada won? I don't even know what sport you're talking about, man. Like the World Cup is over, right? So I don't actually even know what sport you're talking about now. Definitely Canada didn't win this game. No one. Oh, hockey. I see. My Gorius feels bad about this Swarmlings game. Oh, slightly disappointed in not being surrounded by halflings. Yeah. Oh, we're actually in the 150s. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, Mr. Fickles. Appreciate the chatter. Appreciate the advice, though. I don't think I wound up taking most of it. I think I did wind up taking the advice to not advance my ship, and I built G2, but I did some other. Yeah, Swarmling's also pointing out that F6 dwarves not starting F6 was pretty rough for them. I agree with that. I think they were expecting a little more leech round one. I instead just chose to go into the center here. Now we weren't particularly fast. Zach was not fast, but these two players were very fast, and that made this game go relatively breezy despite everything, which I really appreciate. So yeah, this game. I mean, this is the problem with gray green, right? Like I was bid down 14 points and I won by 14 over second place. So this is 28 more points in second place, but how do you know that's going to happen early? You just don't, right? It's a little unfortunate that that's just what happens when this type of color matchup happens, I believe. Admittedly, I think that dwarves could have played a lot better as well, but I mean, it's going to happen. Swarmlings, again, they mainly caught bad breaks and not being able to get spades early. I do think that they could have passed a little earlier to prioritize the spade. They could have taken the spade in round one, even though it feels bad to not have the big building tile. And I will say that I was not supposed to get this priest. So this, the fact that I got this priest was also a really good break. But yeah, I just kept taking all the spades out of the game early, which... Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe oh yeah, no one took the double spade in round one. That was pretty sad. That was a side effect of Swarmlings just not getting the leech that they wanted. So we took one coins action, 2 single spades, which is a little unusual, and a double spade that was part of a triple dig, which was pretty fun. We transformed 10 hexes to our own terrain this game with only one extra dig bomb at the end there. We got 36 endgame points. That's pretty great. We had a very crappy towns game, but I mean, they were like, those towns are usually kind of early game towns. We took one of them late because we were just short. I have a new first time chatter. Zubumafu. Hello. Zabumafu. Hello. Yes. Welcome. We had a good passing game, so that helped. It was a little sad not to get it in the final round. That's okay. It was relatively low on the scoring favors, but it wound up being okay as well. So this is a 7-point dwellings pass and an 8-point big building pass. This is fun. It's always fun to get like a high scoring game here. And honestly, we got just enough favor points that it wound up working out for us. We got 5 points off Air 1, 4 points off Earth 1. Zabumafu, it is going good. It is going good. I have just finished this game. And we won. It's our first win. Halflings are a strong, resilient faction, and I wound up getting the breaks that I needed, and my opponents, you know, they just, as expected, even though auren didn't place on E9, dwarves were still unable to take advantage because they just missed out on F6. So yeah, it was kind of crushing, and swarmlings got spade blocked, and halflings, I was just able to do halflings things. No one really got in my way, other than losing this earth call. That's about it. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for chatting. We'll see y'all next time.